First of all, good afternoon and welcome to this presentation from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. I'll be your facilitator today. My name is Randy Petrick. I am a learning consultant here at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Minnesota. So we've got some exciting things we want to show you this afternoon related to our employer reporting tool, some enhancements we've been working on for the last several months. And we want to show you what those are and how those impact the way you can use the tool. So just a couple of quick notes before we get started. We did a session just like this one 2 weeks ago, and we had some questions about a couple of things. First and foremost, I want to say if you have never been in the employer reporting tool or at one point you were in it, but it's been quite a while, which means your account may have been suspended. We're not going to address how to access the tool today. So please reach out to your Blue Cross Blue Shield account manager or your agent, producer, agent, broker, consultant, and work with them to help you get access to the tool and get provisioned, not only to get in, but to get access to the data that's relevant to your role. So we won't be talking about how to get signed into the tool today. The other is there seemed to be some confusion a couple of weeks ago about the differences between the employer portal and the employer reporting tool. The employer reporting tool is a standalone tool. So it sits outside of a lot of our portals, but you can connect to it through them. So, and I'm going to show you that in a couple of minutes here with our resource page. But you can use Blue Cross Connect, you can use the employer portal, or you can use the producer portal to link you through to the employer reporting tool itself. But again, that tool doesn't really sit within those platforms. Those are just a pass through to get you to the actual tool itself. And again, I'm going to show you a resource page that you should bookmark to make sure that if you have any questions or anything comes up, you at least have a place to start to get your questions answered. So if there's no questions about that, one last housekeeping item. Your phones are muted today. This is a webinar format. You do have the ability to chat, so please use the chat feature. You should be chatting to the hosts and panelists or the hosts and co-hosts, and that will go to us, and we'll be keeping an eye on that throughout today's session. So thank you very much for doing that as well. We'll try to address as many questions as we can going forward. All right, so now I'm going to introduce our panel. So first and foremost, I'd like to introduce Jason Bezdicek, who's our Director of Line of Business Analytics. Good afternoon, Jason.
Good afternoon, Randy. Welcome, everyone.
Yep. Welcome, Jason. Our primary presenter today is Natalie Shargorodsky. She's a Senior Healthcare Analyst. Good afternoon, Natalie.
Good afternoon, everyone.
And we have Deanna Moser, who's also a Senior Healthcare Analyst. Good afternoon, Dee.
Hi, Randy.
So Jason's going to open out with a few comments here in a moment. Natalie's going to do our principal presenting today and show you live demonstrations of the enhancements. And Dee and I will be keeping an eye on the chat to make sure that we don't miss any of your questions or comments. So with that said, Jason, why don't I turn it over to you for some opening comments?
Perfect. Thank you, Randy. And I just wanted to start by thanking everyone for joining. I really just want to spend a minute or two to talk quickly about why we're here today. So we launched our new employer reporting platform early last year. And shortly after that, we really wanted to get some feedback of how things were going with the new platform. So we conducted a user survey and we received some really good feedback and suggestions and really areas that we can improve to make an overall better user experience. And since then, we've made a significant number of enhancements, some of which Natalie will share here in just a moment. But for those more big, the larger improvements, We've also created videos of how those work, and we always include our new enhancements in our release notes as well, which is located on our Connect portal for you all to see. However, we do understand that sometimes it's best just to see it live. So we wanted to really provide this opportunity to see it in action and for you to be able to ask questions. So we do encourage you to go ahead and ask questions, as Randy explained, as we're going through these demonstrations. And before I hand it over to Natalie, I wanted to also mention that we're not done here. We'll continue to have iterative improvements and release new enhancements, which is primarily based on all of your feedback and suggestions. And so those are really kind of what drives our overall development roadmap. So please continue to share your ideas and your feedback. And then a little bit later this year, we're going to recalibrate as well, just to see where we're at. And so we'll be conducting another user survey sometime in Q4, so you can look out for that. Thank you for that. A quick minute or two, Randy. I'll hand it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Jason. Okay. Before we jump into our agenda for today, I'm going to pull up this slide. And in the chat, I am going to put this URL. This is a site that's available for you to go to get information related to the employer reporting tool. So I'm going to go ahead and actually pull this up real quick. So this is the Employer Reporting Solution Guide, and you can bookmark that from the chat. This is on our external portal, bluecrossmn.com. So a number of things are available here for you. First of all, here at the top of the page, you can see where it says User Resources. So you have things like the manual for employer reporting, employer reporting release notes, and these are updated relatively frequently. So you can come back and check those from time to time, and you'll see the release dates and some other things that might be relevant to you. Again, I talked about the ways to access the portal. Those are up here in the upper right. So Blue Cross Connect, the employer portal, the producer portal, depends on your role and what accesses you have. When you scroll down the page, you get to the video highlights. So this employer reporting customer training is from the launch. So you can watch that if you want to see the initial rollout of the tool. Down here are a lot of tips and tricks videos. So these are very short. Typically, I would say probably about 90 seconds, maybe no more than 2 minutes, but they're very topic specific, and they sort of, if you're looking to complete a specific task, these are very hyper focused on just a task. So, and you can see the titles there. Additional videos available as well. So again, this is just a great page to have bookmarked as a go-to resource for all things for our employer reporting tool. So with that said, I'm going to jump back to the presentation. All right. So today we're going to look at a number of items. We've just kind of bucketed them here in a general list. Using saved populations, using multi-select in your filters, working with incurred and paid dates, Excel views, there's actually a couple, export orientation, there's a couple of those as well, viewing report filters, and Natalie will show you that, and then scheduled reports that run at data refresh, which is something that's newer to the tool, and I think you're all going to appreciate when you understand what that means. And then adding subscribers to scheduled reports. And these kind of roll up into 3 buckets for the purposes of today's session. One is we're going to take a look at saved populations. We're going to look at some specific reporting enhancements, and we're going to look at some specific scheduling enhancements. So that's our agenda for today. So why don't we jump right into it? We're going to start with using saved populations. What is a saved population? And then how do you use it and apply it? And you're going to see saved populations come up a number of times today in our different sections of content. So with that said, Natalie, I'll let you go ahead and take charge and run us through our first live demo.
All right. Well, good afternoon again, and let's go ahead and take a look at the new feature we have available in the tool. As I log into the tool, you will see our landing dashboard. And just a reminder that I am in demo site, so you'll only see demo data, and I might have a slight different access. So you might see a few things or some things that you do not when you log into your personal account. We'll go ahead and take a look at the Saved Populations filter. In the past, if you had specific group numbers or other filters, you need to select them each time you run the report. Now we have a new feature called Saved Populations that will allow you to do this in just one click. So if you're often needing to run reports for specific filters, this will be a great feature to use. First, you'll need to do a one-time setup. In your in the left section under your name in the profile, click on the profile and select Settings. This will take you to this page. At the bottom, you'll see Saved Populations. Go ahead and select Save Populations. In here, you're able to create new populations. Hit that plus sign. You could name your saved population, add a description, select any filters down below. I'll go ahead and demo with using specific group numbers. Hit apply. And then at this time, you could go ahead and select anything else that you would need and then hit submit button. In here, you'll see that I created that saved population. Also, I have others that were selected or created in the past. So you could go ahead and create as many saved populations as you would like. With the saved population, you could use that in your dashboard. So I'll come back to our landing dashboard. In here, you'll click on the population, and you'll see our saved population right here at the bottom. Hit select. I'll go ahead and select one I previously selected. It will populate the client, the group numbers, or any other filters you had selected. I also want to note that if you had others selected in here prior to selecting the saved population, it will overwrite that. And then hit submit. And you'll see that my data will change to reflect the group numbers or any filters I had selected in this saved population. Later, I will also show you where you could use this feature when you're running your ad hoc reports and scheduling your reports. We'll go ahead and pause if there's any questions for this new feature of saved populations.
All right, we'll pause here. Again, feel free to use the chat. If you have any questions about creating a saved population, please shout out in the chat, and we'll make sure we clarify any of that, or we will revisit it again. So we'll just give it a moment, make sure everybody has a chance to think about it. It's a great feature that you're going to see come up again here as we work through the reporting and the subscriber or the scheduled reporting piece. So very convenient. I'm not seeing anything in the chat, so I'm going to go ahead and take charge And we're going to take a look at a quick poll. So I am going to go ahead and put a poll up. And it's a simple poll. Just check the one that is most accurate to what you've seen in your situation. I'll go ahead and open it. The question is, have you already used saved populations? The answer is yes. Not yet, but I'd like to check it out. No, not for me. We'll just, wow, everybody chimed in 100%. Congratulations, folks. It's great. I'll share the results out. So we have a very, very clear winner in this poll. So not yet, but I'd like to check it out, which I think is the answer we expect in a session like this one. It is a newer feature. So my guess is most of you probably weren't aware of it. So yes, please do check it out. It's going to be a big time saver for you for a lot of different reasons that you'll see. So great. Go ahead and get rid of that. And now we're going to come back to our presentation. Oh, right. Whoops, I went the wrong way. Right here. Enhancements for running reports. So how do you multi-select filters? Got a new, I want to call it a shortcut, but we have a way to minimize the number of clicks you have to go through to build your filters. How can you use saved populations in your ad hoc reports? What's available for incurred and paid date selection? We're going to look at some outputs, Excel views, as well as export orientations, kind of a reporting format. And then how do you view what filters were used to build a report? So we're going to look at all of those. And again, with that said, I'm going to turn it back over to Natalie for the next demonstration.
All right, for section 2, we have few new features available when we're running the reports. So I am in the reports section. And we'll go ahead and select the report. Again, you could select one or multiple reports that you need to do or run, and go ahead and select our Run button. In here, the first feature we have is the filter selection. So in the past, if you had multiple group numbers to select, you would need to do one click, and then the box will close and you would have to select another and select one group at a time. So this did take some time, and we heard that it was a challenge, especially when you have a lot of group numbers to select. So here's a new feature that will help with this. So now you'll be able to select multiple group numbers by using a control button on your keyboard. So up in the filter, I'm going to go ahead and select my group number, add that as a filter, click in. When I see my group numbers, I'm going to hold down my control button on the keyboard. And from here, I can go ahead and select the group numbers that I'm needing. Or if you have those group numbers that you're selecting often, here's another area where you can benefit from using your saved population. Again, it would be down here at the bottom. You will select your saved population. Again, note that it overwrote the group numbers I had previously selected through the filter. Next section is our dates section. We'll take a look at ability to adjust dates. So we have our paid dates. If you're running the report, you'll go ahead and select your begin and your end paid date. Or on the incurred tab, you will need to select your incurred start date and your end date. and your paid dates. Now, these are independent, so you can go ahead and select different dates on them. And this is useful when you're looking at runout claims. Also note that all of the claims we have loaded in the tool are paid claims, so you will need to select your paid dates if you're choosing to run them with incurred. Go ahead and move on to our next feature, and that would be our Excel views. Right here at the bottom under the settings, in the Excel, you'll see that we have multiple choices for Excel view. We now have ability to select from previously available display format and the new data format. We'll go ahead and take a look at the sample of how they look. On the left, I have the display, and you'll see that it does have nice headers and color, and it looks a little more prettier. And then the data side doesn't have that, but it is a little bit easier to use. So we do have an option of you selecting of your preference if you'd like a display or data. Display or data. On here too, you will have an option for export orientation. If you are in the display Excel view, it is set as default, and we have specific reports that are set in the background to run rather portrait or landscape. If you don't like the way it prints out, or if you have your own preference, you can go ahead and select the portrait or landscape right here on your own. And I'll go ahead and show the sample of that. So as you could see on this report, the landscape fits a little better since we have multiple months going across. It doesn't cut off the data. And then the portrait, it will cut off and move into the second page. So if you have some reports that you're running that might be longer date span, you might want to switch that to a landscape to avoid that cutoff. We'll go back to our run reports. And there is a brand new feature also that just became available, and it's how to view filters that were used to build the report. So before, we were only able to view the user-controlled population filters that you're able to select on your own. Now you'll be able to view all of the components that were used to build the report to allow for greater level of transparency. So let me go ahead and show you. So when you export your Excel file and you hit run and download that, you'll get a file here. On the first page, you'll see the cover. So in the past, you'll be able to see here what you selected, which could be client numbers, your group numbers, your specific state, perhaps. Now, so if you're in the report in here, you want to right click on the tab of the report. There is an option right here, and it says unhide. Go ahead and select that. You'll have the mapping. Click OK. And here you'll see all of our filters and components that were used to build this report. So you'll have the filter of claims paid. If there are specific reports that are built using CPT codes or diagnosis, they will be also listed under the filter selection. But you'll be able to see the dates on here, your client, any group numbers, or any other filters that were selected. If you no longer need that, you could go ahead and hide that, and you'll be back to your report. Go ahead and come back to this area and take any questions for this section, running reports, views, filters, selection, or this new option to view filters in the Excel file.
All right, so we'll pause here for a moment, give folks a chance. Dee,
Yep.
There's a question in the chat. I don't know if you had a chance to digest that.
Yeah, yep. So the question in the chat is asking, so once there are new group numbers, they're only available in the application once there's actually data. And this question is related to saved populations. And if setting up a saved population with those groups, once they do have the data, will they remain into the next year when there may or may not be data yet for those groups? And so the answer is yes. Once the group is populated in the application, it will not be removed. So if you get that set up in the saved population, it should be good to go, even if there is no data yet for that year.
All right, and we've got another one that came in.
All right, so the next question here is asking about high cost thresholds. So not particular to these new enhancements, but a question about if there's a way to set a default for a high cost threshold. And there actually is not. That's a really great question. I'm gonna go ahead and make sure to take that down as a requested enhancement, because I think that's a really great idea.
Okay. All right, great feedback. We'll take note and make sure that we put that one on the list of what comes next. Any other questions? Keeping an eye on it real quick here. Appreciate the feedback, everybody. So thank you for reaching out. All right, Natalie, I'm going to go ahead and jump back in here to the deck. And once again, we're going to come back to a poll question. You can see it here on the screen. I'll go ahead and open the poll. And it should be opening now. So the question is, what are you most excited about? Using saved populations, the multi-select filter values, using independent paid start date for reports run by incurred date, Excel data and display option, output orientation option. And I'm looking at everybody's in. It's interesting. It says 100%, but we have more people than what are showing in the poll. Oh, there we go. 75% are in. Give it a few more seconds. %83 in. I always feel like I'm watching a horse race when I look at these polls results coming in. All right, we're at 86. Probably gonna cap out there, it looks like. All right, so let's see how you did. Fairly balanced output. The leader at 41% was Excel data and display option. Kind of tied there at second is using saved populations and that multi-select filter value using the control key, and then using the independent start dates. So, all right, thank you very much for doing that. Make that go away, and we'll move into the last section of today's live demo. And that is enhancements for scheduled reports. So how can you schedule a report to automatically run following data refresh? I'm going to show you that, a great new enhancement. How do you add saved populations to a scheduled report? And how do you add subscribers to scheduled reports? So Natalie, once again, I am going to turn it back over to you.
All right. Last but not least is the section of scheduling reports. New feature in this section is ability to set scheduled reports to run as the data refresh. So again, I'll go ahead and start from our report section. select the reports or a report that you need to schedule. On the right side, you want to go ahead and hit your schedule button. And that brings me to the scheduled reports section option. So in the past, we had to set monthly reports to run on the 15th of the month. With this new feature, reports will run the following calendar day after the data refresh happens. The reports that were previously scheduled to run between the 15th and the 31st were automatically changed to run the following data refresh. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Once you have your reports selected, you could name them here. And on here, under repeat, so previously we were selecting monthly. If you drop that down at the bottom, you'll see every monthly data refresh. This is the selection you want to make to select that option. You want to hit next. Select your dates paid or incurred and paid. Hit next. Select your population, your client, your specific filters. And here's that option to select our saved population right here. Select. It will populate the group numbers, any other filters you had selected in the specific saved population. Under settings, you have the option for the Excel and orientation and data Excel view that we just looked at, and hit our save button. I'll go ahead and come back to our schedule right here on the left side where we can view our setup scheduled reports. In here, you can edit and delete. And also you'll see this next new feature we have available is to add subscribers under the subscriber section. I'll go ahead and hit that button for add subscribers. This will allow users to add subscribers to our scheduled reports and will automatically deliver an email and a scheduled report into their downloads folder at the runtime. In here, we'll go ahead and show how to add a subscriber. In the type valid address ID here, and I'm using a sample email. So once we have that typed in, you want to hit enter, and you will see the email populate below. If you need to add other subscribers, you will do the same, enter email address, hit enter, and you will see the next user or subscriber added down below. You could add multiple users. It must be an active account. The individual must have security access to the tool and to the client's data. And if you type in a wrong address, you'll see an alert, and I'll just do an example. Right here on the right side, it will tell you the email address does not belong to a valid subscriber. This might mean it might be misspelled, or the subscriber does not have security. So we'll go ahead. One more thing I want to mention while we're here is that this little box is auto checked. This means that you will also receive this report in your downloads folder. If you would like to not receive that, you can go ahead and uncheck this box, and that way it will not be delivered to your downloads folder. Hit save button, and you'll see that it shows that I have one subscriber added to this specific scheduled reports. Again, from here you can edit this, edit the scheduled reports, or delete the whole schedule. I'll go ahead and click into the download section on your left side. And you'll see that my scheduled reports are marked by the little blue calendar. And you'll see if you hover over, it'll say scheduled report. So again, just a reminder, when the scheduled reports run, they'll be in your downloads folder. But a receiver of the subscriber you have added will receive an email asking them to log into the tool to pick up their reports in their downloads box. And that's just to keep our data secure. Any questions? I'll take any questions about our scheduled reports feature, adding subscribers, or any other questions you have at this time.
All right, Natalie, we'll hang here for a moment and just wait and see, make sure that we don't have any questions that need to be addressed. So that's demo number 3, folks. So that will be our last live demonstration today. And I'm not seeing anything pop up in the chat, Natalie.
All right.
So just give it another moment.
Any other questions we have that we've covered today, or perhaps from running reports?
Yeah, we'll let folks take a moment. Nicely done with the demos. So we've got not so much a question, but a comment that came in. So Dee, I'll let you address that. Looks like maybe another request for a future enhancement.
Yeah, thanks, Randy. And thanks for the request. This was just a request for a specific report, which is awesome. Love seeing that. I am going to take down the detail of this request, and we'll look at getting this built out for you.
Okay, perfect.
Again, a reminder, if you have any specific needs for a report or have some questions that come later, you can reach out to your account manager. They'll be happy to help you, or have one of us contact you so we can help.
All right. So with that said, I think I'm going to take control back, and we're going to finish out today with yet another poll. So, because you haven't had enough polls. So last one, again, pretty straightforward polls today. So the question is, what are you most excited about? Scheduled reports to run after data refresh, using those saved populations in scheduled reports, adding subscribers to scheduled reports, viewing the report filters. I have a feeling I know what's going to win here, but we should never assume. That doesn't always work out the best. All right, we've got about 70% in. $76 in. 79. I know on your end, it probably feels like watching paint dry. On my end here, I'm just watching the bars. All right, we've got about 79% in, so why don't I go ahead and shut it down? As I suspected, the leader in the clubhouse was scheduling the reports to run after data refresh. So that was a question that came up really from the very beginning when we launched the tool. So now we have the ability to make that happen. So again, the next calendar day after the data hits the system, your reports will run with the new data. And that was by far the winner. Using saved populations, I think once people start to work with them, I think you're going to find those really helpful as well. So I think that's a great enhancement also. So, all right. Well, we've kind of come to sort of wind down our session today. So Dee, I don't know if you have any commentary about any future enhancements or things that we're looking forward to in the future.
Yeah, thanks, Randy. Sorry about that. I was stuck on mute a little bit here. Yeah, I'd love to share some of the things that we are looking forward to. We've got some exciting enhancements coming up. So some of the things I wanted to share with you guys today is that we're looking forward to the addition of more metrics and dimensions for our trended reports. We're also doing some aesthetic enhancements, such as additional chart types to help with our dashboarding. And then we're having many behind the scenes improvements that are going to just make it easier for us to publish reports more quickly and also deliver some better reports to you guys.
All right. That all sounds good. Plus, we'll take suggestions from one of our participants today and see what we can do with those. Good stuff. All right. Again, just another quick advertisement for the employer reporting solution guide site. I'm going to paste that link into the chat one more time just to make sure you can get it. And I'll just open it up for general Q&A right here. If you have any questions about anything Natalie covered today, certainly let us know now. And while you're thinking about that, I'm actually going to put another link into the chat box. So we have a short survey. I'm going to go ahead and send you the link now. You don't have to fill it out at the moment, but you can click on the link before you leave the session today. And yeah, this, so someone asked if the recording could be sent out. We're going to clean this up and make it pretty, and we're going to put it on the solution site. So it'll live out there with our previous recordings. So thank you for the questions. Good ask. So yeah, click that survey link. It'll open in a window. You can get to it later if you can't get to it right away. But we certainly would appreciate your feedback on that. So helps us improve the sessions. So got that out there for you. And with that said, unless we have any further questions, we thank you for your participation today. It's much appreciated. And we look forward to the next time we get together on this topic, which probably will be a while, but we'll bring you some new and improved enhancements to the tool at that time. So with that said, I'll go ahead and wind down today's session. Thank you again and have a great afternoon.